live, and we're gonna see. It's pretty clean on the inside, so it needs to be brushed out. Actually, there is quite a bit of dust in there, and I'm gonna get in here. I actually plugged in my mics this time as opposed to earlier this morning. Got everything set up and didn't plug it into the into the phone, and so all the audio is just running through the phone audio, which isn't awful, but it's pretty awful. So hopefully this will be a better experience if you're listening, trying to pick out things. But I'm just going to do a little bit of cleaning here right off the bat, and we'll see what we have as far as tuning and all that. See what needs to happen. By the way, thanks for joining and watching, tuning in. I hope to produce better and better content for you as we go and as I get better at it. Welcome to providing feedback on your viewing experience for sure. Now bearing in mind that I don't think it's funny at this point filming, so I'll just do the best you can here to work it into the regular routine. You can check out the oops. That was a big whopping mistake, if you didn't know. Notice. All's well that it doesn't end poorly. I'm just going to go ahead and get some of these things here. Just oh, you know what? We still have I still didn't set the settings right on my audio here. Here we go. Okay, there we go. Now I actually have audio, I think, running through my mics. Hopefully you can hear me now. But I was just saying, I plugged everything in and forgot to plug in my better mics into the phone. And so we were just getting phone audio in my last appointment. So hopefully this will be a much better experience. But then I forgot to push a button and connected to the phone again, so I don't know. I don't trust myself today, but I appreciate you trying to tune in and glean what you can, despite my my fumbling a little bit here. Okay, just kind of dusting off the tops of the strings. This is not. People ask, does that improve the sound? No, not really, but it keeps the piano looking like newer. And if you don't do it regularly, then you can't clean it this well. The dust gets caked on there and it just doesn't look as good. So I like to just keep them looking as pristine as possible. Looks like last time I was here, I didn't have all my cleaning tools, so I wasn't able to do as detailed a job as I will today on the cleaning. Just a few nooks and crannies that were not accessible at the time. So this piano is quite old. It is, the serial number is 81544. I mean, that puts us into the I'm pretty sure it puts us into the 1890s. Maybe I'll look that up on my record here and double confirm that, but anyway, just gonna get in here, clean this part. in this setting, the customer is not home. The owner of the house is not home today, so I'm a little more free to talk about what I'm doing and use a good volume where you can hear me talk about it. I'm still trying to, though, get used to using the Pianoscope and filming it and all that, and still getting my regular, about my regular time in and out of the house. Of course, it's going to be a little longer, right? But as far as my tuning time, I definitely want to get used to that. And one of the things I'm doing to do that is I use the Pianoscope for tuning deciding the pitch on the instrument, and Pianoscope for deciding the pitch. And if I need a pitch correction, I'll use the software. But other than that, just tune the temperament with the software, and then the rest by ear. And I found that to be fastest and to get the best results, kind of the combination of those two things in the past, lately when I've been tuning. I just haven't used Pianoscope as much as some of the others that I have readily on my phone. So, hey, I'm going to join the chat on my other phone and just make sure everyone can hear things okay. My internet connection I don't think is great here, so we'll be fighting that a bit. So let's see what we have. Let me join live here. All right, so I want to see if you can hear my voice while I'm vacuuming. I want to just confirm. I didn't bring my monitor earphones. And I want to confirm that that it's not the camera audio that's happening right now, and that it's going through my interface. So if Jeffrey or whoever is maybe signed on right now, if you don't mind giving me a indicator how that's going, if you're available, that'd be great. I'll scrub some more of this dust off of here. All right. Now I'm going to clean the soundboard off. And I've got let's see here. Oh wow, I'm just dangling my interface from the tripod here. That's no good. All right. Let's see how things are there. Okay. 2. All right. Yeah, so hopefully everybody can hear me good. Jeffrey says the sound check's good. I appreciate that. Yeah, because I thought I had it hooked up this time, and then I still didn't have it hooked up. Okay, I'm just going to clean the soundboard off. So that last piano that I tuned, if you tune into episode 50 there, just before this, it was a weird, it has to be tuned kind of weird. And I've struggled with that piano in the past. Like I've used some other software to try and tune the temperament on that one and gone through it and thought, oh, I just need to correct this. This isn't right. And then I think I fussed with it, if I remember right, quite a bit just to get the temperament good. Pianoscope did the temperament just fine on that piano. And then I just tuned out by ear with the octaves and so forth. And I was finding that the octaves were being tuned really differently than what I would consider your typical Steinway grand would end up. But where it sounded good to me, it was just different. And so it's kind of a little bit of a struggle on that. But I mean, a struggle in the sense of just questioning, like, okay, was this, what's going on, you know? And so some pianos are just kind of funky the way they end up, the tuning, because of their inharmonicity and such. And that certainly is one of them, that A that I just did. And it's an older one from, I I think either early 1900s or late 1800s, rebuilt with a new soundboard and things. And who knows, they could have changed the scaling on the wire. I don't know, because I didn't rebuild it. This one's even older than that one was, and it's been rebuilt. Again, not by me. A lot of people have moved in town to Park City from elsewhere, and they've brought their Steinways with them. A lot of them have been rebuilt from different places, different rebuilders, and some are really great. But anyway, this is one of them, so we're going to be going through this one and seeing what it's like. But I'm hoping that the listening experience will be really much nicer for you as far as volume, balance, the clarity of the piano. That's one thing we suffer on the phone audio. We're hearing like lots of high frequency noises that are picked up really loud, that when you're in the room, it's not true to what we're hearing in the room. So it makes the piano sound kind of ugly compared to what it actually sounds like. So we'll see what it's like in here. Let's see, I'm just gonna run this tool on the soundboard here. Hey, while I'm doing this, somebody was asking, and I don't know if they're gonna be tuned into this stream here now, but they got a tuning lever, kind of like what I have, but they said the tuning tip on it doesn't fit very well, and that's what I found. Whether you buy it on Amazon or from Steve Fujian, I think it's Steve, in the U.S. He's the original maker of those. They kind of tend to come with a yawn number 2 tip, and for most of the pianos that I'm running into here in the United States, that tip is just too small. It doesn't seat very well on the pins, and so it's hard to get it to seat quickly on the pin for tuning, and it's hard to get to seat well for manipulating it. So, so they were asking, that's their only gripe about that tuning hammer, is one of their things they're getting used to, and they asked if there's a compatible tip. Well, you can go to Fujian. I don't know if it's Fujian product, but if you look up Fujian tuning lever, if you Google that, it should come up with the website. And on that website, you can order an adapter tip that is threaded properly. So you could either use I would recommend either a yawn number 3 tip if you can buy from yawn, or if it's more practical to buy from suppliers in the US, I'd recommend a Watanabe number 3, and you need the adapter for that one. Okay, if you get a yawn, just a bigger yawn tip, it should work better. Although I haven't experimented that exactly, I haven't tested that myself yet, but should work better. Okay, the setup in here, I'm not going to be able to show the tuning software very well. You'll just be kind of listening to what's going on more, but I'll try. But I will be showing kind of how I navigate around the piano tuning by ear once we get to that point. So let me back up here. So like I said, this sound on the piano should be way better, and we'll do a little sample on that. And then let's back up to just right here. I realize that's not super close, but hey, with the sound doing a better job, we should have a lot more fun experience. Anyone can tell me. I experimented with a few different miking situations, what was most practical, and I think this one is a really good one. It's what I filmed with over the weekend on Saturday. You can tell me These are Steinway hammers, but they've been voiced kind of differently. And up here, it's more muted than down here. The piano's quite heavy to the touch, but quite heavy. This is okay. It takes a lot more work to play this. It's kind of hard to play softer in the middle with the voicing as it is. Tuning's kind of, you know, it's certainly not perfect, but it's not awful either, right? Let's see if there's friction on the keys at all. If we lubricate, if that'll help the heaviness. There's a little bit. So I'm definitely going to want to lubricate things to help this be a better situation for practice on. Lubricate the keys. I think I'll go ahead and do that first, actually. So... And I am monitoring the chat. Yeah. The person who asked about the tip said that it was too big and loose on the tuning pins. Well, I guess all I could say to that is to get a smaller size of tip. And like I said, well, what did it come with? What tip is on there? You know, that's what I'm curious about, whether or not we know. But you then just try a smaller tip. It doesn't really matter the brand, just try one. But if you do want to try Watanabe or something, I haven't had any problems with the tip being too big on the tuning levers that I've gotten. So I'm not sure what's up with that. All right, where's my tools? Okay. So, as you may or may not know, I lubricate the keys with a product called CLP or ProTech. I use the stuff like water, but it's priced like gold, unfortunately, right now, and much to my dismay. So, I don't know. And I feel like it's just a repackaged household formula or something that would be readily available if we just knew what it was, you know, but you're kind of scared to try something else kind of a thing. But anyway, that's what I use to lubricate the pins. So I'm just going to get out my squeeze bottle of that. And yeah, I don't know what the deal is with your tuning tip that you got there. So I'm almost out of lubricating my bottle, so I'll just take my bottle, careful not to spill, of course. And then I kind of treat it like a syringe. So the person got the tool from Amazon, and there's so many different sellers selling those same tools. One could vary from another, and I got one from one of the sellers, and we didn't really have too much issue. It came standard, like with a tip that was a little bit too small. But the threading, I would guess, would match the yawn tips. That'd be my best guess on those, and would be compatible. But you would have to do a little bit of experimentation. And of course, if I experiment a little bit, I did actually. The one that I bought off of Amazon, I used an adapter that Fujian Products sells from yawn to Watanabe, and that adapter fit just perfectly. So that'll give you some options as far as available tips to try different sizing. Okay, so I just treat this like a syringe, right, and suck up the fluid. I find this is a real convenient way for me to just refill my bottle without a mess or spills or anything awkward like that. And then we're going to just tip the action up. Whoa, you know what though? Sometimes, oh good, we're good. We're good. This piano's age is just amazing to me as far as how old it is. Okay. And I don't want to overdo it with the lubricant on these keys, because I don't want bushings to fall out on something really old, or if the bushings, the bushings are these, in this case on the keys, it's a red woven felt. And if for some reason they didn't do as good a gluing job if they replaced them, I don't want the glue to release by me saturating it with too much lubricant. So I'm just going to get, not too much here, just a little dab that soaks into the bushing a little bit, and we'll rub on the metal of the pin. And my goal is hoping that this will make this action feel a lot lighter. Oh, you know what? I think I have acetone with me, which I could try on the hammer flanges, which should lighten it up quite a bit. That would be great if it does. That would be much more usable practice piano for the competitor, whoever it is that's going to come here in a week or two. I'm going to see if I can do that, because with not much time, I could make a real difference how their experience is on this piano. Because right now it's pretty heavy. And I don't think that's all just because of friction, of course. It's weighting and geometry of the action. But there's no quick fix to change that. The closest thing I have is to reduce friction. That's the thing I have in my toolkit here, which does a lot, because when you reduce friction, it decreases the amount of force to push the key down, and it increases the amount of force that the key can push up, or the amount of weight that the key can push up. And so you end up with a faster action. So we'll see. But with this lubricant combined with, if I do have acetone indeed with me, I'm going to put it on these hammer flanges. And I apologize, the camera's kind of stuck. You're kind of stuck back there with that kind of faraway view, just to set up in the room here, I think. I don't know, maybe I'll try and pull you over here in a second, but let me just, you've seen this before, just check the other streams. I'm just putting a drop of this lubricant on the front rail and then underneath, and then what I'm doing now is on the balance rail right by the pin, on either side of that pin where it's going to contact the felt, I just put a little drop of this lubricant. And on some pianos, this can reduce the friction by considerably, at least the friction that the pianist is going to sense playing it. So yeah, that's my play here. That's my play. I'm going to try and reduce as much friction as I can with what I have on hand, lubricant-wise. And I'm going to hope that these flanges are Steinway flanges, because if they are, they're impregnated with Teflon, which means that the acetone will be very effective in reducing the friction on it. And I can't tell for sure what they are, but I think they're Steinway. Okay, and it's not like they're not really sluggish or anything, but it doesn't matter. If I reduce the friction on those, it's going to work better. Okay, so let me see if I have my acetone bottle down here. And you know what? I think I will try and hook you up with a better view. I think I can put my camera set up over here. Let's see if I can do this without destroying everything in the setup. Okay, that's not bad. We'll just do that. I'm going to be in the way of the camera at some point because of as I come around and tune the treble, so I can't really help that, unfortunately. But I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to have it be a quality experience for y'all. Okay, let's see what we're filming now. Okay, that's a pretty good view, huh? All right, there we go. There's a number of you tuned in this morning, which is cool. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I hope you learned something. Oh, good. I've got a full bottle of acetone here, which is amazing because this stuff flashes off really fast. So, and you're just gonna have to take my word for it whether it lightens up the action a lot or not, because I'm not gonna take the time to measure the friction today. We're just servicing the piano. But we'll start in the middle where it was most noticeable. And the voicing was quite clear, a little bit maybe too bright in the middle for a great dynamic range. And then in the higher treble, maybe a little muted, okay, for a balanced sound. And I can achieve that without too much fuss, actually. With what I have on hand, I can pretty quickly, I can brighten up the treble just fine, and I can voice down the middle or whatever's unbalanced. I can voice it down through the strings really quickly. So it doesn't have to be a big ordeal to make this piano way, way, way better. And I just want, I want to do my best the competitors don't have any control over where they stay, as far as I know, and what piano they have to practice on. It's just volunteers that host them. And, in our society that struggles to support the arts, maybe as well as it should, right? That's about the best we can do for a setting like this. So I just want to do my part, see if I can do the best I can. If the pianist has a good experience, the host will have a good experience hosting them, so on and so forth. So hopefully we can do that. Now, I'm not just going to lubricate the hammer flanges with the acetone. I'm also going to lubricate the repetitions or whippings, the flange on those, because I have found in our experiments with this acetone that it makes a big difference. It can make a big difference that these parts are also lubricated, okay? And no, I don't want to spill acetone on the key tops or on the lacquer finish. That would be a problem. So I do have to be, mindful of that as I'm putting this on. Okay. So I'm getting this in between the cracks of these flanges, trying to get it to be soaked up in the bushing cloth. I should probably make sure that it's not making it causing more friction on these, huh? Just if it was some other part, not a Steinway part. I think we're okay though. I'm going to carry on. But I'm confident enough with these chemicals, what I'm doing, that, we're not going to do anything that would be a big problem for any reason. All right. Okay. Again, this is just kind of a last-ditch effort to make this better than it otherwise would, without increasing the service cost to the customer much. First of all, I don't have time. I wouldn't be able to fit it in the schedule between now and the competition anyway, with my schedule. And, if they don't have to incur any extra cost, that would be good for them too, I'm sure. Okay, let's see here. We're just about ready to check this out and play it. But again, it doesn't take that much extra time here to just pop this in here. And this will either work really well, won't have much effect. Those are probably our two results. There's a slight chance that it might make the hammers not going to check as well. in which case I'll have to address that a little bit, but I can do that pretty quickly, I think. So just thinking out loud with you is strategy anyway. So I'm gonna scrub the keys. Yeah, I don't know if these flanges are responding in the way that Steinway flanges normally do, but we'll see. I'm just kind of working in that lubricant a bit. All right, let's see. I think it might be a lot lighter, but we'll see when it goes in the piano. And then I'm going to double check where it started to get weak in the tone, and I'll put some drops of paraloid on there. Just, again, doing anything we can to balance it out as quickly as possible. This is kind of concert prep mode more than taking our time to address everything from the ground up. The lubricant on the keys controls that gliss action. So if you gliss, it kind of is rubbing the lubricant on the pins. I still have to work a bit on this piano to play it. It's really just from this A flat to this B flat. And again, I think lubricating it actually brought the voicing up a bit. I'm feeling a lot of drag on the knuckles of this piano, and I'll show you what I mean if you don't already know. As I push it slowly down till I feel resistance and then push through escapement, I'm feeling a lot of friction there on the knuckles, so I'm going to reduce that if I can. Okay. Let's see here. So this is microfine Teflon powder, and I'm just going to rub it in the area where the knuckles here, these yellow things, interact with the jack below and the whip-in. And the hope is here to reduce friction. Again, the piano feels heavy, sluggish, difficult to play, even though the tone is nice and clear and everything. But still, it would be, you don't want that, right? Especially for the kind of repertoire that these young people are playing. It's amazing. It's amazing repertoire. You'll catch it if you catch the Gina Bachauer live streams. I'll put the link on when I get into that. I think that starts June 17th, I want to say, and goes for 2 weeks. And they live stream the whole thing, even while I'm tuning, I think, during the breaks. We'll see if they do it the same this year, but they've done that in the past. So I've had family members say, hey, I saw you on, or people I went to school with, I saw you at the Gina Bachauer tuning. So it is a great competition. They bring in just amazing talent, and usually the winners of this competition, it's usually a stepping stone. They usually have quite a career after that if they pursue it. It's really the best of the best kind of a setup. Okay, so I'm just rubbing this Teflon here on the knuckle and wishing that it will even decrease the difficulty of playing this piano. That'll make it even lighter, more responsive, make the action kind of disappear more so that you can just express on it. So let's see here. So one thing, the individual who was making comments, I'm not sure if it's Mate or something, said that you said you used the link that I sent you to get that hammer, and you're saying it's too loose. I'm guessing it feels too loose because it's not seating deep enough down on the pin, and so there's some play at the top of the pin because it's not seating deep enough. That's my guess. So what you're feeling is too loose is actually it's not the tip isn't large enough to go down far enough. And then when it goes down farther, then you'll feel it grip better and it'll be tighter. That's my guess as I think about it. Because I think what's on those is a number 1 or a number 2. No, it's a number 2 tip. And on a lot of pianos, it's just not big enough to seat down. European piano's fine. You know, I think it would do just fine, like Schimmels, things like that. But anyway. All right, let's see if this feels any better playing it. Even though I still kind of fumbled just with my technique there, if you heard my first try at this, it's way better. The low bass still feels really, really heavy, but I can move way better on this piano than I could before. How's the piano sound, by the way, with this setup? My guess, I don't have monitors today. I can't monitor the stream. My guess, it should be like a lot better than past stuff, but let me know if it's not. Let me know if it's just the same, because maybe I'm not running through the right channels here. But okay, what I'm going to do now is I've just used every bottle that I keep in my little squeeze bottle container, and I'm going to use not acetone. I'm going to use paraloid. We're just going to put 1 drop on this B flat and go up to the A flat. And there's grooves on this hammer, and the alignment of the hammers isn't great, but at this point, I can't fuss with that to make it better. I just have to work with what I have, and I think I can do a pretty good job, even with things set up the way they are, okay? So as I tune, that will harden here in the next 15 minutes or so, and then we'll get a better idea when we're done tuning how to needle it to make it sound better. Okay. We vacuum off the dust bunnies here. One indicator for me if my sound is running the way I want it to, you should be able to hear me talk with the vacuum going just fine with my lav mic here. And then you should be able to hear a nice bass sound in the piano, a little more than we've had in the past. Right now this is more muted because it hasn't dried yet, but it'll dry. This bench height's kind of bothering me. It's a little low for me, so I'm going to raise it up. This is all the way down. Some pianists are all the way up kind of people. Some are all the way down kind of people. I think I'm not a pianist per se, like these competitors are, but I think I like right in the middle. Is what I like. Okay, now let's tune. I'm gonna create a new instrument here in Pianoscope. And I'm gonna zoom the camera into Pianoscope so that you can follow along with me tuning the temperament this time. We'll do that. We've got a little bit of lighting stuff going on. I might get in the way of the screen a bit. Don't know if we can fix that at this point. I think we're about as good as we can get. So hopefully you can see that okay though. And I'm going to make a new instrument on this. And I'm gonna call it, and I can make folders in this and everything. I just haven't bothered because I haven't been doing that many pianos yet. We'll name this one Chapman. Chapman Steinway. And it's a Model B, serial number 81544. With all the extra work I'm doing on this piano, I don't have time to look up the year. It's just kind of a gee whiz kind of a thing if I do it. So we're just going to get right into measuring the piano here. Oh, I don't need to go up there. Lost track of what I was doing here. Okay. All right, here we go. So this is our inharmonicity curve. This is where the pitch is. It's kind of centered around where it needs to be. Interesting, these are a lot lower than this curve, but I tend to, it seems like I see that a lot, so I don't know anyway what that means. But, and then it's a little flat, maybe quite flat in some of the notes in the treble is what it's saying. But that's neither here nor there. We're going to tune it up. We're going to actually have it suggest a concert pitch. If it happens to be sharp of 440, I'm going to go with that concert pitch based on what it's read. We're going to optimize that, use the measurement we just made. Again, it's suggesting a pitch just a tiny bit flat, about 2 cents flat, so we're not going to go with that. Flat of 440. So I'm going to reset it to 440. Click done, and we're ready to tune the temperament because I know I'm not going to need a pitch raise on this piano so much. Okay, sorry, I was just checking the screen there. Make sure you're still seeing the Pianoscope here. So I'm just going to mute off the temperament octave. we'll probably, if I play the, this is a different subject, but if I start playing that octave or so that I put the paraloid on, I'm guessing it's going to start sounding pretty bright right now. But we'll just stick to the task at hand and tune, and then we'll needle that as needled later. Again, I'm just going to go to the A. And we'll tune away here. Tuning pins on the loose side a little bit. Just going to zero that right on there. Check that octave. It kind of turns over a little bit, but it's still pretty clean. I'm just going to keep tuning the temperament. So my goal is to find a software, and this may not exist, but a software that will tune the temperament without me feeling like I need to go correct it. I mean, other than if things have moved a little bit or not as stable. And so far I've liked all the, from Pianoscope, I think it's all been like definitely palatable to me, you know, for sure. Just trying to really nail it. I do like that all my display settings on Pianoscope are saved when I close the app. And I also like how they have buttons that'll say reset to factory default. I like that too. recheck the A. Wrong pin, folks. I was like, why isn't that moving? Should be a dead giveaway, right? At least I was knocking it flat, not sharp. All right, here's our G sharp again. Now the A says it's fine. Okay, A3. A3 says a tiny bit flat. Although I don't know I can get it but much better than where it was. That's where I wanted it by ear. I cheated. I did it by ear. That's where my ear wanted it. Actually, right there. It moved a little bit. All right, I'm just going to leave it there. No, maybe a little higher here. Okay, I'm just going to leave it there. I keep putting it there. So, okay, listen to the temperament. That one has a little bit of a beat. I'm going to check the G. Just wrestling that G just a little bit sharper to make this fifth sound a little better. With that A down there, of course it messes up the temperament, so I'm gonna. That's where our A is gonna be. And it's the same place. Okay. So I'm done with the temperament. I like it. Those fifths sound quite tempered on this piano, not as pure as some pianos, but the tone of the piano is kind of funky. But again, these are very, very old pianos. I'm not going to be too, not that the age has to do with it, but maybe more the scaling. The fourths sound, I like the sound of the fourths a little better than the fifths, but I'm going to go with it. It's equal, and it sounds, so I'm going to keep tuning down. Now I'm not looking at the machine. I'll keep the camera on the machine. I'm just going to tune by ear, not to compete me and the machine, but just so you can make your own judgments on any differences that there might be. You know, I was just thinking with the optimize concert pitch function that's on the Pianoscope software. I mean, I'm mostly tuning like between 440 and 442. I imagine most people are doing that, unless you're tuning a piano flat, really flat on for some reason, you know, an old upright or something, you don't want strings to break or something like that. So I think it'd be a cool feature on that concert pitch application to, if it said, you know, the optimized pitch is below 440, and had recommendations, you know, like the optimized pitch is below 440, would you like to set concert pitch at 440? And then you just hit yes. Or if it said like the optimized pitch is more than 4 cents or more than 1 hertz away, 1 hertz lower than 440 or 1 hertz higher than 442, would you like to open the pitch raise function or something like that? That would be kind of cool. You know, I don't know how doable that is. I'm not a developer, but finally got that up where I wanted. This piano's really close to pitch. Last time I tuned it, I just remember it was the first time I'd seen it. I just remember there was a ton of snow on the ground. Now it's going to be about 90 degrees outside. Okay, the lowest plain string tenor notes are, in my opinion, the worst sounding, like the hardest to find a compromise on in general. Especially the first two. Of course, on this piano it's F2 and F sharp 2. Yeah, it's like I don't like it. What is it? It's like I really have to put myself in a different kind of headspace. But it sounds fine, like spread out. Just more the octave. There, the fourth is just too wild. So what I try and do is just make the octave sound good first and foremost, and then if the fifth and fourth don't, like if one of them are wildly out, then I'll make the compromise then based on that. It's almost a pure 6/3, maybe a little narrow. tuning pins are loose down here. It's a little harder to set it where I want. Okay, now we're going to move on. We're going to tune the unisons. That's what we're going to do. Check the chat here. Anything cool here on the chat? Let's see. I've got to join live here. Let's see if anybody's saying anything. I don't think so. I think we're good. Okay. Just cruising. So I'm going to tune the unisons now. You know, some pianos, they just lock in right, just so easily right where you want them. This is not one of those pianos. Let's see where A4 is, just as a reference. It's maybe crept up a couple tenths of a cent. Okay, well. Don't quite like those unisons yet. Okay, now I'm going to try and do my best to ignore the, I mean, it's what I was doing before, but just as a reminder, I'm trying to ignore the software. I'm gonna tune the octaves by ear here. So that sounds nasty to me. Ah, much better. So here's my octave. Here's the 4-2. Plenty wide 4-2 there. Here's my octave. Here's the 4-2. Wide 4-2. Some people were saying like, oh, you're trying to tune a 2-1. I'm not trying to tune a 2-1. Here's a 2-1. Although that is a pure 2-1, but that's not what I'm trying to do. I swear. It just worked out that way on that one. Here, I'll prove it. There's a wide 2-1. I'm just trying to tune it where the octave as a whole sounds good. Sounds as crystal clear in tune as it can. How are they having to move these? Wide 2-1. I love the sound of that triple octave. Here's that area where we put parallel on. It's plenty strong. That's finally a good sound on that. I was getting fooled. Anything in the chat going on? Nope. Sorry for my head in the picture now. I know, I'll just move the Pianoscope over, maybe that'll help. Let's see here. Okay, see if I can keep out of the picture better. See, that to me has a lot of beating on it. Still a lot of beating. I like that. But still a little bit of pulse. There, I like that. I'm just going off of what sound I want to hear in the hall, in the concert hall. That I'm just going to toss out a theory, and that is that current calculations for inharmonicity readings about how the tuning curve is going to play out may be different. The calculated values may be different than what the actual measured value is on a piano. There may be some new understanding to come by in this realm. I don't know. Who knows? That's just based on what I've observed so far. that we have further to go understanding how to tell a device to tune a piano. Look, that's way flat, right? When you play them separate. Historically, where I find the most difference tuning by ear and tuning with the devices is in the 5th and 6th octaves, and I've kind of been glancing at the machine here and there. I think most of my values were like 2 or 3 cents flat of where the machine, in this case, calculated them. And I'll check my A value again, A4, just before we end. I'll do a little needling now where we brightened it here. Oh yeah, let's check the A4 value on the machine. Pretty much right at 0 still. Knocked the unisons out there, didn't I? to needle this a bit. I'll keep listening to the tuning as I needle it. Okay, I think we've seen what we want to see on the from the tuning software and tuning and all that. I still might touch up the tune if I hear something weird, but let me zoom the camera out and we will do some voicing and whatnot, just to make this piano be its best self as we can. All right. Where's my needle? Okay, that's not the needle I want. And this is the, yeah, this will work, but I might have misplaced my favorite needle in the shop or something, but let's see. First I'm just going to move the una corda pedal as I play over this area to kind of break off any crust. There's some sparklies in there that we're kind of working through. There, now it's not so pingy, but just a little bit of, just adjust the volume a little bit in the una corda position by needling. I can see in the string cuts where it's hitting with the una corda position, so I just needle right there, right in the middle of the old grooves there. Those strings are a little pingy, so I'm going to try and do a little more on that one. Get a little softer touch to it. So that one's a little pingy now. You know, we throw out these words like ping and sizzle, but I don't think we're all speaking the same language. So I don't know if they're that useful, but at least it's something to describe the sound, you know. I just like to describe it as metallic sounding, you know, where those higher frequencies are really prominent. So a couple more here from where we harden, and then it's fine. That one still, I didn't get rid of wherever it was, so I didn't hit the right spot for sure. Let's see. Mostly the middle and the left string that are still kind of zinging on me there. Let's see if I can just find them. That's better. Still metallic. Mostly just on the middle one now, so I'm going to continue to try and hunt this down with the needle, just in between those string grooves. Now the G doesn't match, we just have to finish that one. It's kind of like, you can almost sometimes like a sewing machine just kind of go in the area where the string is going to hit. And it's not like the piano's, you know, going to be perfectly voiced or anything anyway overall, but we're going for better. This one really didn't need a lot of hardener. This B flat. Everything else, I'm really pleased with how it came up. It's matching so much better. It doesn't feel doesn't feel like when I play evenly, it doesn't feel like there's a hole in the tone right there. I'm still not getting the hard spot. There's a hard spot on this somewhere from this, on this B flat regular position that I'm not finding. There, I found it now. It took away those higher frequencies. Now I'm going to go for a general kind of evening out. And just having some notes not stick out can can make a world of difference in your, being able to voice things properly when you're playing, that type of voicing when you're playing. It's funny, we say voicing a piano and then we say voicing a melody out when you're playing, and they're kind of different, right? So I'm just picking the hot ones and needling a bit. No, I'm not worried at all that I'm going to go too far if someone's wondering. Should be just fine. That one's quite strong and metallic. And I was noticing, once I kind of even it out, just about there, I think. That string's a little squirrely. See if I can find the spot. So it's funny, evening out, it's not funny, it's not haha funny, but it's interesting that when you even things out, unless you go too far, oops, I knocked a damper. These dampers are kind of loose, they're free to kind of move around. We got to make sure we don't knock them. And that's not something I'm going to fix. The parts are so old in there that I don't dare go in there and tighten with a screw at this point. Oh, but what I was saying is when you even it out, it strengthens the instrument actually. Because the effect when you have one note that sticks out really, really hot or bright or strong or whatever you have it, then the others around it are then by relative definition, they're weak, and so when you bring everything to the same plane dynamically, then it strengthens the whole instrument. Again, in general, you could definitely go too far. And if you're afraid of going too far, just knock out the very brightest notes and then stop. If their neighbors then seem bright after you do those, just resist the temptation to needle them as well. Initially anyway, till you get a better feel of what you're doing with the voicing. Voicing is really hard. It's like sticking your finger into a warm bathtub and me asking you how hot is the temperature, and how well are you going to guess that? Because it's all relative to was your finger cold when you set it in? Was it hot? Was it hotter than the water? Was it the same temperatures of the water? It throws your perception off. Same thing like people trying out pianos and their relative mellow or bright voicing. It can. You're not dealing in absolutes most of the time, you're dealing in relativity. But for people who play hours and hours a day, then it becomes a little more absolute. So I think if you're going to be a good voicer, you're going to be better at nailing down that absolute, saying this is acceptable, this is unusable. And even then, though, you'll get preferences, with very, very fine pianists that can vary greatly. So now I can go strong on it without worrying that something's going to be stand out. That one like that one did. I'm going to bring that down a little bit just to match everything. It still has those higher frequencies. When I play the louder dynamics, it's still over the top, so I'm going to come towards me a little bit, and there's a hard edge that forms on this close side to me as it gets played and played at the end of the string groove. So I'm going to work at breaking down that hard edge so that at those very loudest dynamics, the tone doesn't spread too far apart in frequencies. Do you hear that? It's different in character a little bit. I'm gonna. Sometimes the issue is that you've got more hardness. Well, let me put it this way. If it's a metallic sound that gets introduced as you increase your dynamic, usually you're still going fairly shallow on the surface of the hammer. It's just you're going outside, then you're going towards the pianist to address the hard spot that's responsible for that. If in the quiet dynamics the note was very bright, and I was having a hard time no matter what dynamic I played getting a rounder tone, and I had already needled in the middle, then I would work on the edge opposite me. This B just sticks out a little bit in character. Is it fine? Yeah, it's probably fine, but I'm gonna make it better even. There, now I don't have a hole. Just a couple more in the middle here so I can bring the level down in the dynamics and the tone color a little easier. So again, when it's quiet, now I'm going to work towards I'm going to start going away from the middle of the string groove, away from me, and breaking down that hardness. That one stuck out, didn't it? This one, the string kind of hits the edge of the hammer the way it's aligned. That's partially why it's doing that. So I'm gonna be kind of hard pressed to get it exactly sounding the way I want, just because it's hitting right on the edge of the hammer. Examine tuning a little bit. I have a friend that has a really good ear. Musician and a tuner, and he says I hate B flat 5. I'm pulling these up in pitch a little bit. It sounded a little better to me. Just a little bit. I doubt it's more than a couple cents. Good. I like that. Okay, let's try. Oh, here's a question. Music Type Foundry, appreciate you speaking what you're thinking when you feel you need to make adjustments. Yeah, I'm trying to do that, without slowing things down too much because I have to stop and think. Right now, just playing stuff. Just seeing what my overall experience is playing it. Right now, it's really pleasing. Now I don't play this piano and say, this is a heavy piano. That's not the first thing I say. Is it the fastest piano? No. But it's just as fast as some that you might find on the concert stage now. It's like on the bottom end of acceptably fast and I'm not going to fuss too much over the very bottom notes in this piano because the pins are a little bit marginal and I don't want to tap them today. I don't want to tap them in deeper. If I was not preparing it for a thing right coming up, and then maybe I'd tap the pins. Why? I don't know, but that's just my feeling. So what I'm thinking now is this is really nice. This is a pretty beautiful town. Let's put this into perspective. How old is this piano? Rebuilt, of course, but still, there's only so much you can expect from rebuilding usually, especially from, most rebuilders. Oh. Sorry, I gotta hang up here on this call. Okay. So what do we got here for age? Let's check this out. Oh, I haven't looked it up yet, actually. Let me do that today. I'll put it in here so the serial number is 81544, and we're going to search the Pierce Piano Atlas to find out the age. I don't know of any other application that didn't rob from the Pierce Piano Atlas that does the same thing as the Pierce Piano Atlas, so I'm curious what other people around the world do when you're trying to look up the age of a piano. But this one works pretty well. Okay, Steinway. And I should have all the Steinway numbers memorized, but I don't. I'm terrible with numbers. Like in history, dates, numbers, they just go in one ear and out the other for me. Okay, so we're looking at 8. It leads with 8-1, and then it's 5 serial numbers. So we're talking 1894 is when this piano was made. It looks to be the original soundboard. as far as I can tell. It looks like they basically just painted the plate and restrung it, and probably didn't even do a new pin block. Yep. It's the original. Well, it could be a new pin block. If it is a new pin block, I admire their work. They did a good job. It is a new pin block, I think, but the tuning pins still are kind of loose, so I don't know what happened. Maybe just a different climate that they rebuilt it in. I'm just playing spread things because that really exposes, like if tuning was really not good, or I should say it exposes really, really nice tuning to me. Yeah, it's way lighter. The voicing's good now up here. There's no hole. And we tuned it, and now it's holding fairly well. So we're done. That's what it is. Hey, while I'm putting things away here, I'd love to hear any responses or comments on the sound that you're hearing from the piano, and any differences if you hung in for the whole thing. How well that reads across the stream. That's what I'm looking for, I guess. Just some feedback that way. I have one more today. I'm going to do another stream. It's actually a Hamburg Model B, new, like really brand new, Stereo. And so I'm going to go to that next and start working on that. And that'll be my final thing, but I will stream that provided the customer allows me to. I'll ask their permission. And most of the customers have been most gracious just allowing this to be broadcast and filmed. So you have them to thank, the customers. So, but yeah, I am gonna just any feedback on the from the piano sound. If you're still tuned in, I'd love to know on that. And whether or not you're hearing the voice changes as we do them, and the tuning and all that, or whether you can kind of hear those nuances. I think the one thing that's hard to project through over a video and audio broadcast is the touch, obviously, right? So you're reliant on the verbal feedback from whoever's playing. You're just, like I've said before, you'll just have to trust me that it's way better. It feels way lighter. And I don't even care how light. I don't even care to put a number on it. I know it's way more acceptable to play. And had I not come, had this customer decide, we're just gonna let them practice on whatever, it's good enough. My gut feeling is that the competitor would have a much different experience than had we not gone through and lubricated and done the voicing. And then of course the tuning's nice too, but the tuning will get blown out real quick, right? They're gonna play their hardest repertoire, 40, gosh, they memorized so much music for this repertoire, or for this competition. And then there's a chance they might have issues with dampers, but at least I know they're loose. So that's something if they call me and say, oh no, a note is sticking, I can say, hey, you know what, it's an older rebuilt piano. Your dampers are probably just twisting a little bit. Just twist it into position, it'll fall right back down the strings. I can solve the problem without even having to come out. So that'll be nice. Okay. I'm actually like way pleased with the way this piano turned out, tuning wise and voicing. So the last one was okay. So, but it was kind of a weird duck. It was kind of a weird animal. So, yeah. Okay, I need the key slip. And just a beautiful day here. I don't know what kind of weather you're having where you are, but final chords here. Mate says he thinks, or he or she needs to replay the before and after to notice the difference. Yeah, for sure. It doesn't have the advantage as if we made a video and juxtaposed the before and after, right? Yeah, for sure. I imagine a lot of people are just kind of working and just have this on in the background or whatever, and that's great. I'll take it, right? People tuning in. But yeah, I'm hoping some of the concepts are able to be communicated over this medium without you having to be here, directly. All right, and I appreciate you taking the time to get a message to me on that too. So, and the audio is holding out. Put the music desk on. Here we go. All right. I think things are good here. They had their lid closed. I'll go ahead and close it again. Oh, I gotta pull my mic first out of the piano. So I think I'll go ahead and sign off, and I'll catch you next time around. Thanks so much for joining. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate your interactions, and just to be able to share the love of pianos as we go through this.